TLDR, I see you in meetings, hiding, pretending that you know what's going on when you don't, and I have the strategies for you to deal with it. Hey, I'm Natalie, and welcome to the Dyslexia in Adults podcast. I believe that dyslexia is holding you back in your career and impacting your daily life, and ultimately slowly chipping away at your confidence. And I just simply don't think that is good enough. I don't care when you were diagnosed, if your boss is a total dick, or if, like me, you roll your eyes heavily when dyslexia is called a superpower. I know I can change how you feel about your brain. I want to talk to you about a moment. I know you've all experienced it because I was having a conversation with one of my one-on-one coaching clients, and when she told me about it, I was like, yes, I know exactly what you mean. So we were talking about meetings and all of the information that can get thrown at you. You know, you go into the meeting and you're thinking, okay, great, I'm going to get project updates, no problem. And then the pace picks up and more information is thrown at you. And before you know it, something just clicks and you're like, nope, I've got no more room. There's no more room at the inn. Please don't make me process anything more. I cannot process anything. I'm feeling really overwhelmed. And you know what so many dyslexic people do is exactly what my client did, is hide. Just something happens in your brain that goes, I can't take on anymore, but I can't be that person in the meeting that puts their hand up and goes, oh, sorry, I don't quite understand. Could you explain it to me again? Because let's be real, do we even trust our brain that it will happen, that the second time they explain it, it will make sense? So what she did, and what I know I've done before, and I'm guarantee you've done too, is switch to not trying to learn all the information, not trying to catch up, but move to the situation where people won't realize that you don't understand what's going on, and you're just trying your best to get through. Okay, let's dive into why this is a problem. Now, obviously, there's lots of challenges that go alongside dyslexia and trying to process things. But what I want to talk about today specifically is how we develop bad systems instead of ones that actually work for us. We move to a mode of hiding rather than trying to get in all of that information. Another way of thinking about it is when you're abroad and things are going on and people are talking in another language, you might pick up little bits here and there, but it's only when you have an interpreter with you or someone who can speak that other language that you can properly communicate, that you can actually get things done easily. And that's what good systems should feel like. They should feel like you have an interpreter with you. Now, when we're thinking about a tip, it's always important to remember different meetings require different things. And what we're talking about today is the meetings where there is a lot of information being thrown at you and you need to prepare that little bit more. So this may be the times where you need to get information in advance so that you can start to process that information and mean that you're not having to do all of it at once. Or maybe you need to understand the big picture of the meeting so that everything that you're learning and all the new information makes sense and can click in neatly and nicely. The truth is it's surprisingly simple things that will really start to make a difference. Things like being able to ask questions and being able to take the meeting a little bit slower so that all of the information isn't rammed into your brain in quick succession. But you know what you need to make all of these things work is a good company culture. And that's the truth of it. And as neurodiverse people, we have to start caring about the companies that we're going into, doing the investigative work of, is this the kind of company where I'll feel safe to ask questions? It won't be embarrassing to ask for the information in advance. People will care about my opinion, so I can actually get the big picture beforehand. Company culture is often the thing that will result in a dyslexic person succeeding or drowning. So it is really important that you start to think about this when going for interview. Now, not everyone is in a situation where they can instantly start going and looking for another job. But the point we want to get across is that you need to stop feeling like a burden. Like these small things make you incapable or not good enough, or that no company will ever appreciate you because of these things. That hiding mode that we talked about earlier is your only solution, because it isn't. And caring about company culture, changing your mindset so that you don't feel like a burden are two simple things that you can do to actually get started in implementing the strategies that work. to give yourself that interpreter in meetings. So, to recap, hiding mode is when you have bad strategies and systems that aren't supporting you, alongside low confidence that's making you feel like good strategies won't ever be possible, and resulting you sat in meetings, not understanding what is going on, and feeling completely invisible. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Dyslexia in Adults podcast. Whether or not this is your first listen or your 100th, I am so grateful that you decided to entrust me with this challenge. If you enjoyed this week's episode, I would really appreciate it if you could review and subscribe to the podcast because it really helps us to reach more people.